The vast chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light from the floating orbs that drifted near its high ceiling. 300 representatives from different alien species sat in rising circular tiers, all of them looking down at the single human standing in the center of the floor. Ambassador James Walker stood straight and tall, his gray diplomatic uniform pressing sharp lines against the polished black stone beneath his feet. He had expected this day might come, but that didn't make it any easier. High Counselor Gray, a tall being with silver skin and eyes that looked like swirling galaxies, rose from his seat at the highest tier. His voice echoed through the chamber, translated instantly into all known languages by the Council's advanced systems. "The vote is complete," Gray announced, his tone cold and final. "For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council has unanimously agreed to declare war on a species." He paused, his galaxy eyes fixed on Walker. "Humanity has been deemed too unpredictable, too dangerous to allow its continued unrestricted expansion." Walker didn't flinch. He had spent 5 years as Earth's ambassador to the Council, and he knew their ways. They always acted like this, proud, certain, and completely blind to their own mistakes. "You have 24 hours to leave Council space," Gray continued. "After that, we will begin our operations to contain the human threat. This is not a negotiation." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Walker noticed how some representatives puffed up their chest stacks or flared their neck fins in pride. They thought this would be easy. They thought humans would bow down before their mighty council. They were wrong. Walker cleared his throat and spoke, his voice calm and steady. "I have a message from Earth's United Defense Command." Gray waved a dismissive hand. "We are not interested in human pleas or threats." "This isn't a plea," Walker said, pulling out a small silver disc from his pocket. "And it isn't a threat. It's a warning." Before anyone could stop him, he pressed the disc's center. A hologram filled the chamber, showing Earth's defense commander. The alien representatives stirred uncomfortably. They hadn't known human technology could override their chamber's security so easily. "Galactic Council," the recorded message began. "You believe you know humanity. You believe you understand our capabilities. You are mistaken. We have spent the last 50 years preparing for this possibility. Every piece of technology you shared, every scrap of knowledge you traded, we studied it all. We improved it all." The hologram shifted, showing massive shipyards hidden in asteroid belts, advanced weapon systems concealed beneath the surfaces of seemingly peaceful colonies, and armies of combat-ready troops and machines. "If you choose war," the message continued, "you will learn why every predator species in Earth's history learned to fear humans. We didn't become the apex species of our world by being predictable. We did it by being unstoppable." The hologram vanished, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. Walker looked up at High Counselor Gray, whose silver skin had taken on a slightly paler shade. 24 hours, you said." Walker smiled slightly. "That should be enough time for us to get ready. Though, to be honest, we've been ready for years." He turned and walked toward the chamber's exit, his footsteps echoing in the silence. Just before reaching the door, he stopped and looked back. "One last thing," he said. "You mentioned containing the human threat. You should know, humans don't get contained. We expand. We adapt. We overcome. And after today..." He paused, looking around the chamber one final time. "After today, we will not show mercy to those who tried to destroy us." The doors closed behind him with a heavy thud, leaving the council members to contemplate the gravity of their mistake. In their arrogance, they had just declared war on a species that had spent its entire history perfecting the art of warfare. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council felt something they had forgotten existed: fear. Admiral Stone stood at the window of Earth's United Defense Command Center, watching the sunrise over the Rocky Mountains. His weathered face reflected in the reinforced glass as he considered the message that had just arrived from Ambassador Walker. "They actually did it," he muttered, turning to face the room filled with military leaders from every nation on Earth. The Council declared war. The massive underground chamber hummed with power as holographic displays lit up, showing Earth's defensive grid and the positions of their hidden fleets. 50 years of preparation were about to pay off. "Begin Operation Phoenix," Stone ordered, his voice firm and clear. "Show them what humanity has been hiding all these years." The room burst into action. On screens around the chamber, secret bases hidden beneath the ocean floors, inside mountains, and in asteroid belts powered up. What the Council thought were simple mining operations in the outer solar system transformed into massive military shipyards. "Status report," Stone commanded. Colonel Peters, a tall woman with short gray hair, stepped forward. "All systems are green, Admiral. The Council's sensors are still blind to our quantum shielding. They have no idea what's coming." On the main screen, thousands of ships appeared, dropping their stealth fields. These weren't the simple transport vessels and research ships the Council had seen before. These were warships, built with technology the humans had not only copied from their alien visitors, but had improved upon in ways the Council had never imagined. "What's the status of Project Phoenix?" Stone asked. "Our combat systems are fully operational," Peters replied. "Every ship is equipped with our latest quantum processors. The aliens think we're decades behind them in artificial intelligence. They don't know we solved the quantum computing problem 15 years ago." Stone nodded, remembering how the Council had always treated humans like primitive newcomers. They never questioned why humanity seemed to learn their technology so quickly. They never wondered why humans were so interested in their outdated military systems. "Sir," a young officer called out, "we're detecting Council ships entering the outer solar system. They're not even trying to hide their approach." Stone almost felt sorry for them. Almost. "Let them come closer," he ordered. "Activate the automated defense platforms, but keep our fleet hidden. Let's show them their first mistake." The Council ships, nearly 1,000 of them, moved confidently toward Mars. They had no reason to be careful. According to their intelligence, humans only had a few dozen outdated ships protecting Earth. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "They've passed the outer defense line," Peters announced. "Automated platforms are tracking them." Stone straightened his uniform, launched the first wave. Hidden platforms around Mars' moons came to life. Weapons that the Council had never seen before, powered by dark matter, and guided by quantum AI, opened fire. The Council's supposedly unbreakable shields shattered like glass. "My God," someone whispered as the screens showed the battle. They didn't even have time to send a warning. Within minutes, over 200 Council ships had been destroyed or disabled. The rest were frantically trying to retreat, their formations broken, their confidence shattered. "Send the message," Stone ordered. On every Council ship's command screen, a simple text appeared in their own languages. "This was only our automated defense system. Our actual fleet hasn't even launched yet. You have 1 hour to surrender and leave our space, or you will see what humanity can really do." The Council ships fled so quickly they left damaged vessels behind. Stone watched them go, then turned to his staff. "Well," he said, allowing himself a small smile, "that's Phase 1 complete. Now let's show them why you should never corner a species that turned itself into the apex predator of its world through sheer determination and intelligence." Around Earth, humanity's real fleet began to power up. Thousands of ships, each more advanced than anything the Council had, prepared for launch. The Council had started this war thinking they were dealing with primitive newcomers. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. The Council's war room was in chaos. High Councilor Gray stormed around the circular command center, his silver skin now dark with rage. The holographic displays showed nothing but disaster. Their first attack force had been crushed by mere automated defenses. "Impossible," he shouted, slamming his fist on the control panel. "They were supposed to be primitive. Send in the main fleet. All of it." Admiral Stone watched this scene through the quantum spy drones humanity had planted in the Council's headquarters years ago. He smiled as he saw exactly what he had expected, blind pride leading to desperate actions. "They're launching their main assault," Colonel Peters reported. 5,000 ships heading toward our outer colonies. Stone nodded calmly. "Right into our trap. Signal all colony defense systems. Operation Hammer is go." The Council fleet approached the human colonies with overwhelming force. Their ships filled space like a swarm of angry insects, weapons charged and ready. High Counselor Gray watched from his command center, certain that this massive show of force would crush any resistance. The first sign that something was wrong came when their scanners went dark. "What's happening?" Gray demanded. His technical officer, a bug-like being, clicked nervously. "Some kind of interference. We've never seen anything like it." Suddenly, space itself seemed to ripple around the Council fleet. Hidden satellites activated, creating a massive quantum field that trapped the alien ships in a web of distorted space-time. "Now," Stone ordered from Earth's command center, "show them what happens when you threaten humanity." The human colonies, which had appeared to be simple mining and research stations, transformed. Massive defense platforms emerged from beneath the surfaces of asteroids and moons. But these weren't just weapon platforms. They were powered by something the Council had thought impossible. "Sir," Peters called out, "all AI combat systems are engaging. The quantum network is stable." The Council fleet found itself facing an army of AI-controlled weapons, each one thinking thousands of times faster than any organic crew. Humanity had not only mastered AI technology, but had taken it far beyond what the Council had ever imagined. "Impossible," Gray screamed as reports flooded in. "Their weapons are adapting to our shields. They're predicting our tactics before we execute them." The battle wasn't even fair. The AI systems analyzed and countered every Council strategy in microseconds. Ships that tried to retreat found their engines disabled by precisely targeted shots. Those that tried to fight were systematically taken apart by weapons that seemed to know their weak points perfectly. In the Earth Command Center, Stone watched the battle unfold exactly as their simulations had predicted. "Status report," he ordered. "Enemy fleet is 80% destroyed or disabled," Peters reported. "The rest are trapped in our quantum net. No casualties on our side." The AI defense grid performed above expectations. Stone nodded. "Send the message." Throughout the Council fleet, every working screen displayed the same words. "This was your first and final warning. Your remaining ships are being sent home. You have 24 hours to surrender unconditionally, or we will bring this war to your worlds." In the Council Command Center, Gray watched in horror as his mighty fleet was reduced to scattered debris in just 6 hours. The few ships that were allowed to escape limped home, their crews shaken and terrified. "How?" he whispered. "How did they hide all this?" The answer came in a personal message from Admiral Stone. "We didn't hide it. You just never bothered to look carefully. You saw what you wanted to see. A primitive species that would be easy to conquer. Now you see what we really are. Humanity at war. You have 24 hours to decide if you want to see what happens when we actually start fighting back." As the message ended, Gray realized with growing dread that this devastating defeat had been dealt to them by automated defenses and AI systems. They hadn't even faced the main human fleet yet. The Council's greatest military operation in 10,000 years had just been crushed in 6 hours, and the real war hadn't even begun. 23 hours after their ultimatum, Earth's command center buzzed with activity. Admiral Stone watched the massive countdown display tick away its final minutes. "Still no surrender message from the Council?" he asked. Colonel Peters shook her head. "No, sir. They're moving their remaining ships to defend their core worlds. They think we'll need months to reach their territory." Stone allowed himself a small smile. "Time to show them our biggest surprise. Start Operation Thunderbolt." Throughout the solar system, hidden shipyards powered up. The real human fleet. 5,000 warships equipped with technology that would have made the Council's scientists weep, prepared for launch. "All ships report ready," Peters announced. "Dark matter drive systems are charged. The dark matter drive was humanity's greatest secret. While the Council thought humans were still struggling with basic faster-than-light travel, Earth's scientists had discovered something revolutionary. They hadn't just improved alien technology. They had completely reinvented it. All fleet commanders, Stone's voice rang through the command network. Execute Jump Plan Thunder 1. Across human space, thousands of ships vanished in flashes of dark purple light. What happened next would become legendary in the history of warfare. In the Council's command center, High Counselor Gray was trying to plan his defense when the alarm started blaring. "What now?" he demanded. His sensor officer's eyes widened in panic. Multiple ships appearing, everywhere. Impossible readings. They're in all our systems at once. The dark matter drive had done what the Council thought was impossible. The human fleet didn't need months to reach enemy territory. They appeared simultaneously in every major Council system. Humanity had mastered instant teleportation across the galaxy. "This is Admiral Stone to all Council worlds." The transmission played on every planet, moon, and space station in Council space. "Your defenses are surrounded. Your ships are outmatched. This is your final chance to surrender." Gray watched in horror as his sensor displays showed human warships appearing around every Council homeworld at once. The supposedly primitive humans had somehow mastered space itself. "How are they doing this?" he whispered. The answer came as human ships began their attack. Their weapons were beyond anything the Council had imagined. Quantum-tipped missiles that ignored shields completely, energy beams that bent around defensive formations to hit their targets. And most terrifying of all, each ship seemed to think and react faster than any living crew could. "Sir," Peters reported back in Earth's command center, "all primary targets acquired. Council defense fleets are in disarray. They can't coordinate their responses fast enough." Stone nodded. "Begin Phase 2. Take out their military installations." The human ships moved with perfect coordination. Each one knew its target, its role, its timing. The Council's mighty defense networks, built up over thousands of years, crumbled in hours. On a Council colony world, 2 alien generals watched their orbital defenses fall. "They're not just beating us," one said. "They're teaching us a lesson." The other nodded grimly. "We thought we were the masters of space warfare. We were wrong. They let us think they were weak. All these years, they were just studying us." Back in Earth's command center, the reports of victory flowed in steadily. Stone watched as centuries of Council military power were systematically dismantled by human innovation and preparation. "Send the next message," he ordered. Throughout Council space, every communication system received the same transmission. "Your military capability has been neutralized. Your worlds are under our guns. The species you thought was primitive has just defeated your entire defense force in less than a day. Tomorrow, we start dismantling your Council piece by piece. Unless you surrender, choose wisely." As the message played, Stone looked at the battle displays, showing human ships in perfect formation around every major Council world. 50 years of preparation, of hiding their true strength, of letting the Council underestimate them, had paid off perfectly. "Now," he said quietly, "they understand what it means to go to war with humanity." Commander Ryan stood on the bridge of the human battleship Thunder, watching as another Council world raised the white flag of surrender. It had been 3 days since Operation Thunderbolt began, and the mighty Galactic Council was falling apart piece by piece. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "the Beetle Empire is requesting separate peace talks." That's the 5th major Council race today. Ryan nodded, his battle-worn face reflecting in the massive view screen. The Council was splintering exactly as Admiral Stone had predicted. When faced with humanity's true power, their unity crumbled like a house of cards. "Commander," another officer shouted, "we found it. The Council's primary military installation. It's hidden inside the gas giant in the Centauri sector." This was what they had been waiting for. The heart of the Council's military power, their most closely guarded secret, or at least They thought it was secret. "Send word to Admiral Stone," Ryan ordered. "Tell him we're ready for Operation Sledgehammer." In Earth's command center, Admiral Stone received the message with grim satisfaction. He turned to Colonel Peters, who was coordinating the fleet movements. "Launch the Quantum Strike Team," he commanded. "Show them our best weapons." Deep in the gas giant's atmosphere, the Council's massive military base floated in what they believed was perfect secrecy. Inside, alien commanders were desperately trying to understand how their perfect war had gone so wrong. They never saw the human ships coming. 20 specialized warships, equipped with humanity's most advanced quantum entanglement weapons, emerged from dark matter jumps directly inside the gas giant's atmosphere. These ships could ignore the laws of physics that the Council's scientists still thought were unbreakable. "This is Commander Ryan to all ships." His voice was steady and clear. "Execute Pattern Delta. Show no mercy to their military capabilities. But remember, we're here to end the war, not the species." The battle that followed would be studied for centuries. Human ships danced through the gas giant's storms like they were flying through clear space. Their quantum weapons bypassed the base's strongest shields as if they didn't exist. Each shot was perfectly calculated by AI systems that fought faster than any organic brain could comprehend. In the Council's command center, High Counselor Gray watched in horror as his last military stronghold was systematically taken apart. "How?" he kept asking. "How did they even find this place?" The answer came in a direct message from Commander Ryan. "We've known about this base for 40 years. We've had quantum spy drones watching your every move since before you even knew we existed. There's nowhere in this galaxy you can hide from us anymore." As the human ships finished their work, the massive base began to shut down. Not destroyed, just completely disabled. Every weapon, every shield, every military system carefully neutralized with surgical precision. "Base secured," Ryan reported to Earth Command. "And sir, we found something interesting. Documents proving that certain Council members planned this war years ago. They wanted to stop humanity's progress before we became too powerful." Stone's face hardened. "Send copies to every Council world. Let them see how their leaders betrayed them all." Within hours, the truth spread across the galaxy. The war hadn't been about humanity being dangerous. It had been about fear. Fear of human potential. Fear of human progress. Fear of a species that could accomplish in decades what had taken others millennia. In the Council chambers, representatives from a dozen species stormed out, denouncing the leadership that had led them into this disastrous war. The mighty Galactic Council, which had stood for 10,000 years, was collapsing under the weight of its own arrogance. Commander Ryan watched from his ship as more surrender messages poured in. "Your orders, sir," he asked Stone through the quantum comm. "Prepare for the final phase," Stone replied. "Tomorrow, we remake the galaxy. But first, we need to have a little chat with High Counselor Gray about the true meaning of justice." High Counselor Gray stood alone in his private chambers, watching through massive windows as human ships kept perfect formation around the Council's capital world. His silver skin had lost its shine, turning dull gray with stress and fear. The door slid open. He didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "Come to arrest me, Admiral Stone," Gray asked quietly. Stone walked into the room, his boots clicking against the polished floor. Commander Ryan and Colonel Peters flanked him, their faces stern but not angry. "Actually," Stone said, "I came to show you something." With a wave of his hand, he activated a holographic display. Images filled the room, thousands of them. Every secret meeting, every hidden conversation, every dark deal that Gray and his inner circle had made over the past 20 years. "How?" Gray's galaxy eyes widened in shock. "Quantum spy drones," Stone explained. "Smaller than dust. We've had them everywhere for decades. We saw you planning this war. We watched you convince the other Council races that humanity was a threat. We heard you say that humans needed to be destroyed before we grew too powerful." Outside, more council ships were arriving, not to fight, but to surrender. The council chamber itself was in chaos as representatives demanded answers about the lies they had been told. "You don't understand," Gray said desperately. "Your species, you advance too quickly. You master in years what took us centuries. It's not natural. It's not safe." Stone laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Not safe. Let me tell you what's not safe." He stepped closer to Gray. "Starting a war with a species that turned itself from cave-dwelling primates into space-faring civilization in less than 10,000 years. That's not safe." The holographic images change, showing Earth's history. Stone's voice grew harder with each word. "We survived ice ages with sticks and stones. We crossed oceans in wooden boats. We went from first flight to landing on our moon in just 66 years. We cured diseases that nearly wiped us out. We survived our own nuclear age. We rebuilt after every disaster, stronger than before." Colonel Peters stepped forward, adding her own voice. "And do you know why we hid our true strength from you all these years? Because we hoped you would see us as equals. We hoped you would welcome us as partners. Instead, you chose fear." Commander Ryan activated another display, showing real-time images from across council space. "Look at what your fear has caused. Your mighty council is falling apart. Every species that learns the truth about your lies is denouncing you. Your 10,000-year empire is crumbling." Gray sank into his chair, his proud posture finally breaking. What are you going to do with me?" "Justice," Stone said simply, "but not revenge. That's another thing you never understood about humans. We can show mercy, even to those who tried to destroy us." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the council complex. Peters checked her quantum pad and smiled. "Sir, it's happening. The council chamber has voted. They've removed Gray from power." Outside, the news spread across the galaxy at quantum speeds. The mighty High Counselor, who had led the council into its first war in 10,000 years, had fallen. But more importantly, the truth about why the war started was now public knowledge. "Time to go, Gray," Ryan said, stepping forward. "You'll stand trial, not just for humanity, but for every council race you deceived." As they led Gray away, Stone looked out at the stars. Humanity's ships still held their perfect formation, a demonstration of power that had helped break the council's pride. But now, they would serve a different purpose. "Send the message to all ships," Stone ordered. "Operation Guardian begins now. We're not here to rule a galaxy. We're here to help rebuild it. Better, stronger, together." The message went out, and across the galaxy, human ships began helping those they had just defeated. The Council had feared humanity's power. Now they would experience humanity's capacity for forgiveness and cooperation. The breaking point had come, but it wasn't the end. It was a new beginning. 1 month after High Counselor Gray's arrest, Ambassador James Walker stood once again in the center of the council chamber. But everything was different now. The old rising tiers had been replaced by a circular arrangement where all seats were at the same level. No species would stand above another anymore. The power of humanity was never in our weapons. Walker spoke to the assembled representatives. Our real strength was our ability to learn, to adapt, and most importantly, to work together. The chamber was fuller than ever before. Species that the old council had kept out as too primitive now sat alongside the former ruling races. Admiral Stone and Commander Ryan stood beside Walker, their uniforms carrying new symbols of the United Galactic Alliance, humanity's vision for a better future. 1 month ago, we could have destroyed the council completely, Stone added, his voice carrying across the chamber. We had the power, we had the weapons, we had every reason for revenge. He paused, looking at the assembled aliens. Instead, we chose a different path. On the massive screens around the chamber, images appeared showing human ships helping rebuild damaged worlds, human medical teams treating injured aliens, Human engineers working alongside their alien counterparts to improve technology for everyone's benefit. Colonel Peters, now Director of Interspecies Relations, stepped forward with a data crystal. This contains everything. All of humanity's technological advances, our medical discoveries, our scientific breakthroughs. We're sharing it with every species, freely and completely. A murmur of surprise ran through the chamber. Under the old council, technology had been used as a weapon, shared only to control others. This was something entirely new. But there are conditions, Walker continued. 3 simple rules for our new alliance. First, all species are equal. No exceptions. Second, knowledge must be shared for the benefit of all. And third, never again will fear be used as a weapon to start a war. The former High Counselor's trial had revealed the full extent of the old Council's corruption, how they had held back younger species, hoarded technology, and used fear to maintain control. Today, that would all change. Commander Ryan activated a final holographic display, showing the new Alliance headquarters being built on neutral ground, a space station where all species would work together. "We didn't come to rule," Ryan explained. "We came to lift everyone up. Humanity spent 50 years pretending to be less than we were because we hoped for peaceful cooperation. Now we can finally stop pretending and start helping." One by one, representatives stood and raised their hands or appendages in agreement. The vote was unanimous, the first truly unanimous vote in Council history. The United Galactic Alliance was born. As the chamber erupted in celebration, Walker smiled at Stone. "They thought we would destroy them," he said quietly. "They never expected this." Stone nodded. "That was their biggest mistake. They saw our ships, our weapons, our technology. But they never saw our heart." Outside the chamber, ships from 100 different species flew together in formation with human vessels. The quantum defense network that had won the war was now being repurposed to protect all Alliance worlds. The dark matter drive technology was being shared to connect the galaxy like never before. "One last thing," Walker announced to the chamber. "As a symbol of our new beginning, the Earth government has a gift for every species here." He pressed a button, and new images appeared. "We're opening our universities, our training centers, our research facilities to all. Come learn with us, grow with us, build the future with us." In Earth's command center, now the temporary headquarters of the Alliance, the original message from the Council declaring war still played on a small screen. Next to it, a new message scrolled. In the end, humanity's greatest victory wasn't winning the war, it was winning the peace. The stars shined brightly outside the chamber windows. But now they weren't filled with warships and weapons. Instead, they were filled with hope, cooperation, and the promise of a better tomorrow. Humanity had not just survived, they had changed the galaxy forever. The dawn of a new age had begun.